All right, so we are going to start building today. We've been talking lots of theory about how to make something like a geometric shape go from 2D to 3D on paper, but obviously even though it has that illusion of being three-dimensional, we know it's actually still just 2D, right? So today's the day we're actually going to make it 3D for real. Here we go. Let's switch over our view. We're going to do our first mini shape all together. And I'm going to start with something a little bit more simple, right? We got to learn to walk before we can run. So we're going to start with one of the shapes that we made last time, our triangular prism. Okay? Just like when we started drawing it, you know how we started with the two triangles and then we connected them, the like corner to the like corner? We're going to be doing that with this as well. So as you can see, we're going to need 1, 2, 3 toothpicks, Q-tips, twigs, whatever you got, okay? We're going to be using those 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 for a total of 9. So go ahead and get out 9. I'm going to be using the toothpicks. If it'll let me. There you go. 1, 2. Probably should have gotten these out before the video. Now you have to sit and watch me take these all out. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. So we've got our 9 toothpicks ready to go. So we're going to start off by making some triangles, 2 triangles. Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned this. If you don't already, get that hot glue gun plugged in now, because it's going to take a few minutes, like 5-10 minutes to heat up. So get that plugged in right away. I'll wait. Okay, did you get it plugged in? It's plugged in now. Good, good, good. All right. Once it is warmed up, you'll be able to tell because when you push on the trigger, glue will come on out. Okay. You might want to put something down underneath if you've got nice hardwood or something. We don't want to wreck the surface. I've just got some black paper here, so that works. If you want to have a non-stick surface, you could get parchment paper or wax paper, something like that down. That'll help make it so it doesn't stick, which makes life a little bit easier. I'm going to live on the edge though. I'm going to just do it without. So I'm going to add a bit of glue to where those two meet. There we go. Try not to let it move around too much. And a bit of glue to where those two edges meet. I'm trying not to get too much to go through. I don't want to get too much onto the paper so it's not sticking too much. And finally, we'll have to be delicate with these. They're tiny, right? And the good news is if you can work with ones that are this tiny, by the time it comes to our big skewers in a few class periods, those are going to be a piece of cake by comparison. All right, I've got one triangle done. Let's pretend that's the front triangle here. Or is it the back one? Can you guys kind of play with your mind and make that the front triangle? Okay, now flip it and make it the back one, where it's down and towards the back. Op art. That's coming a different year though. We're not doing that right now. Okay, let's make our other triangle. We'll let that one dry in the meantime. Not that it takes that long to dry, but here we go. I also wish these had longer cords. Look at this, is all the cord length I have. I'm gonna have to get a extension cord or something. There we go. A dab will do ya. Just like the Flintstones told us. Have you even ever seen the Flintstones? Am I dating myself here? It is a good show. It was fun to watch. But it's funny now, looking at what some of the futuristic things that they had in the show The Flintstones. Now I'm like, oh yeah, that actually is happening. Okay, maybe not the space cars, but hey, we're getting close, right? Some of those self-driving cars, they're pretty space age. Okay, that one I'm going to let dry, let it cool off a little bit. This one I'm going to very carefully try to pick up without breaking the pieces from each other. There we go. So I've got my one triangle ready to go. And then we're just waiting on this one. That one still needs another minute or two to just cool off. As it cools off, the hot glue will no longer be hot glue, it'll just be glue. And it will harden and we'll hold it together, but we got to give it a minute to do that. I don't want to mess with it too much. Let me just go through the next steps so that once I am able to release this, it'll make a little bit more sense what we're doing. So far we've basically got, I'm trying to make this match that. We've got something like this going on, right? Yeah. So what we're going to want to do is connect these. Now you don't have to do it at this angle, right? Maybe you'll want your lantern to be at kind of a cool angle like that. But once again, I said I think we should walk before we run. So before we start doing, you know, cool shapes and prisms that are at an angle, let's just start off today by making it kind of straightforward. So we would connect, you know, the top corner to the top corner, bottom right to bottom right, and bottom left to bottom left, and we'll just stack it kind of more on top of each other so that they're nice and even and not at like a tilted angle like that. Let's see if that's ready. Yep, this one's ready now. Okay, so I've got my two triangles. You know, there's different methods on how you can do this. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to kind of line these up like this. And I'm going to glue them with the base first, and then I'll connect that top piece. So that's how I'm going to go about it. It's like anything in life and anything in art. There can be as many different techniques as there are different people, and you just got to kind of find what works best for you, for your groove. So I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue down in this corner, and we'll connect that one in. Okay, it's not going to stay up quite yet. Put a little bit of glue. Just shimmy that next one. I've got my next hot glue stick. Needs to go in, and of course, there we go. Okay, you got to kind of sometimes push it forward a little bit. There we go. Next bit of hot glue. And we'll get that one in there. Let's see, I don't know if it's going to hold quite yet. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, so I've got that one standing. Yay! I'm going to put my hot glue down in these two corners. Okay, let me see. If you weren't sure what I was talking about before, my hot glue, like when you add a new one, sometimes it doesn't hold it tight. Your glue gun might look slightly different than this, but they're all the same concept. So sometimes you got to kind of push it along. Give it a little guidance. Okay, so here we go. Getting a little hot glue. I'm going to do both of these corners at once. And that way, you can kind of add them both together like that. Yay! We're almost there. Probably doesn't look like much from overhead view, but let me get this last one glued together, and then I'll release it from the paper and I'll hold it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. Alright. Give that a minute to dry and cool off just so it doesn't fall apart. And you can always, like, once you've got the basis of it down, especially for your final one, once we get to the bigger ones, we're going to want to make sure it's really secure before we add the fabric around it with our bigger one, right? We're not doing fabric with this, but once we get to the bigger one, we'll want to make sure it's really nice and secure at all of these joints. So once you've kind of got it together-ish, you might want to go back in then and add some more hot glue just to like build some reinforcement, almost like making a cast around each of those. Okay, let me see. I would probably in real life wait a little bit longer, but just so that this video isn't going on for hours and hours, I'm going to carefully release it. There we go. little paper stuck there. But here we have it. Okay, you can see if I hold it kind of like that. Look at that. It looks almost the same, doesn't it? We've got our triangular prism. Once again, this is kind of just more of a basic one, right? That's nothing too crazy yet. So your job now is going to be, now that we've done this one together, you're going to look at all of the creations you made yesterday. Pick out your favorite one, the one that you think like, maybe I would do this for my final one. Once we get to that big one, we're using our big skewers. So what I want you to do is I want you to recreate that in a mini model 3D form to get an idea of like how that's going to work, how it's all going to come together. Maybe even jot down notes too, like first I did this, then I did that, especially if you think that that is going to be one that you want to use for your final. All right. Have more of these ready to go. For more of these, I mean like toothpicks or Q-tips, little twig type things. For next time, could be straws, could be pipe cleaners, could be pieces of cardboard cut in thin little strips, about toothpick matchstick sizes, whatever you got. Okay, have those ready to go for next time as well. We'll be making more shapes. So before next class, you should have not only your triangular prism completed, but also whichever one you've decided on that you think you might use for your final, have that one completed as well. And have fun.